Hi everyone, this is going to be a quick video tutorial looking at basic color image to monochrome conversion. So I've taken an image here that has a lot of bright colors in it. You can see there's yellows and greens in the frog, bright red eyes, oranges over here, and there's going to be some magentas and cyans throughout the image, but it's mostly going to be dominated by red and yellow. And what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to convert this into a black and white image, and also how manipulating the sliders in the conversion function can lost my train of thought. Can result in a different image, and the different image results can be used for different effects or just different image presentation, things like that. So first thing we're going to do is go. This is Adobe Photoshop CS4 extended, but multiple versions of Adobe, of Photoshop, including some older versions, as well as definitely as the newer versions, have this feature in it. So we're going to go into Image Adjustments, Black and White. It might be called something else, or it might be in a slightly different place on your version, but most, or at least many of the Adobe Photoshops have this. So I'm going to go into Black and White here, and we've got different presets. I tend not to use these, although you can see what effect different filter types would have if this had been a film image. I think it's better for me. I just like to mess around with the sliders until I find something that I'm happy with. For this, I know that I would like to make the eyes white and the skin a little bit darker. So to do that, I remember the eyes were red, so if I slide it all the way to the right, and it's always a bad idea just to jerk the sliders all the way to the right or the left. You can see what's happening is all the red is becoming white or black. So by opening this up in black and white mode, what we've done is created an image which is based on grayscale tonality, but the program remembers the color data. So even though it's showing us a black and white image, it remembers each pixel's color. So as we adjust the sliders, it allows us to, that's why the image is being adjusted. Now the next thing, the yellows here. So you can see actually, even though the skin looked green to us, mostly it was yellow. Now that we've got these bright white eyes, I think it'd be kind of neat to have dark skin. Not quite that dark. That's nice. Nice little slightly dark, there we go, grayish tone. Now there's going to be some greens in the skin as well. Now, based on the way that image sensors see light, you can see that adjusting the green too much has some really strange effects, especially back in the upper left in the bokeh segment of the image. So again, jerking the sliders all the way one way to the right or left is not really a great idea. I'm going to put this at about 38% because that gives us a nice, again, a fairly dark gray tone for the skin. And we don't have any areas that are blown out by right now by adjusting the slider too far in one direction or another. There are going to be some cyans in here, so let's see what that gives us. And you'll see that I am sliding them all the way to the right and the left, and that's so that I can find the areas of the cyan color and kind of decide what I want to do with them. So in this case, because most of the cyans are down here on the left side, I kind of want them to be in shadow, but I still want to have detail. So I'm going to put this at 58%, and we can see here this is where this area where most of the cyan was, and so it's in shadow, but we've got detail down here, and up here we've still got some brightness in the bokeh, but it's not blown out, and it doesn't look like we made a mistake like it did when we were sliding these sliders around. There's going to be much less blue in this image than cyan. You can see. I'm actually going to make this slightly darker. Ooh, it's going into the negatives. Negative 23, negative 18% looks pretty good to my eye, at least on this monitor. And that, again, is just to emphasize the shadow areas and kind of add some contrast within the image. Magenta, we have a little bit in the eyes and a little bit down on the log in the lower left. I'm going to make this slightly darker because I like that the frog's right eye, which to us is the left, you can see on the side of it there's a little dark crescent. I'm going to make this a -3 so that we keep this dark crescent up here. Click OK. That's our black and white image. Now, another thing you can do, though you don't have to do it, I like to. I'm not ever going to need the color data for this again, and if I do, well, I'll just go into the original color image, recreate something that approximates this, and work with it from there. So I always convert these to grayscale. It saves a little bit of file size, not much. Most computer hard drives are large enough that it's not going to make a huge difference, but I'm really, really picky about file size, and the smaller the better in my mind. So I like to convert these to grayscale. Now I'm going to save this. And every time I create an image, what I would do is I just number them, one through whatever the last image number is. And I do it that way because it keeps the file name small, and that way I also don't have to think up a new file name. Frog. Or you can see I have like 9 different pictures of this bicycle that was at the BART station and different angles of it. Bike 1, oh, bike brake 1, bike brake handle maybe, bike brake pad, I don't know. I don't want to come up with different names for them, so I just use numbers. And then I have some simple nomenclature, BW for black and white. This is the second version of the black and white frog that I've made, so it's BW2. These are my JPEG compression options. These are standard. You can see that this image is 4.7 megs. I think it's about 6.3 with the color data saved. So it does save a little bit to get rid of the color data. And that's that. We've converted the original image into black and white. We're going to open up these other two here really quickly. Here was the original. Here was the one we just created, and here's the one I created when I did this video earlier tonight. Slightly darker, a few glitches up here in the bokeh area, and I don't really care for this solarization effect around the knuckles. So at any rate, this one's a much more pleasing effect, and also this is a much more pleasing effect because the sliders were more centralized. On this one, more of the sliders were at more extreme locations, and that's why we get things like this effect here and this graininess up here that really stand out and look like poor image quality or image flaws.